when I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Easier. This is good evening, everyone. Englot is getting
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in.
Handcrafted in Canada, Artline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind, you can victory.
Biting the top 12. Has to be off center now. She can't afford to jam it on her own at the back. She'd like to roll in behind the corner guard, but maybe only half in behind the corner guard. If you roll dead in behind, it's just another guard essentially, and Strouse will come right around everything. Makes the hit. Rolls towards that corner. That might be just a little bit too far. Chance for Sydney Mullaney to try to draw around this essentially double corner guard, albeit one of them in the 12-foot. This doesn't look like it's getting by the Yellowstone. Just chips off the guard and will sit for a tight center. Gives Ashley Williamson a chance to get around. Nothing out of the brushers so far. She's got a lot of room. There has been big movement from the hog line in all weekend long. Now it does tend to get a little straighter. We started play Thursday. The rocks were conditioned before we started. The more you use them, they will get just that little bit straighter. She gets up to touch the center line, but no piece behind the guard, and probably left just enough air that Sydney Mullaney will be able to get to the inside of that and roll behind cover. Not sure if she can make the double here. She'll be hitting the second one pretty thick, but if she makes the roll, I don't think she cares if the second one leaves or not. This has got it, girl. Gonna jam it, actually rolls the yellow in behind cover, leaves the red out in the open. Leaves the opportunity now for Sarah Englot to try to get just to the inside of that flop undercover. They could sit 3 here. And with the exchange of stones, it's just a little bit higher in the rings. She'd be in front of the tee line as well if she could get the rolling behind. Definitely tighter line early. Gonna have to go to get by, not gonna get by. I don't want it to stay on that and hit it thin. I don't know that you want it to necessarily jam it dead into the yellow like that. Gets the little spin in at the end, and that is important because it means that Englot's sitting second and third. She's got access to the yellow at the back of the 8. It's not a gimme. It's a tough court. Could split the red at the top of the 12-foot right now. Sit shot 3rd and 4th. You might even be able to get the shooter in front of the shot rock. And then you open up that one on the back of the 8-foot completely. Problem with this shot, even if you make it, Michelle's going to play the shot rock and roll in front of the one you're about to throw, and then you've still got a problem with how do you get it out. Well, they didn't call a split, but if her weight's good, that might be what they've got. Going to be a little too strong for the split. She'll push the red into the rings, but the shooter all the way through the back. Ankle's probably available for the double. You could just hit shot rocks at 2 as well. So they're just going to make the play on the shot stone for now. In the face a little bit. They got to be careful of their own. It does get just by and actually rolls to a good spot. She's made the double as difficult as she can. It's very thin to go after it. Strouse not going to try it just yet. Try to hit and roll in front of that yellow stone. Sarah Anderson, this is her final stone of the second end. Wants to roll back towards that center line. She'll get a little bit of a roll, not as much as they would have liked. Stephanie now, I think she's probably still looking to roll just a sliver at least to the outside, to the broom side. If you hit this right on the nose, it's close to leaving a triple. Not that they necessarily need to get the third one out, but if you're going to play the slash double, the only way you're holding your shooter is if it goes into the yellow on the side, and it might. Just depends where this comes to rest. Oh, she's not hitting it on the outside. Makes the hit. Gets the big roll to the outside, but leaves a pretty easy double there. Honestly, you could hit either rock first and make the double. You do have to be a little careful. If you hit the one closer to center first, you're going to be somewhat into the side and maybe the back of the other one. If you're throwing big weight, you could squirt through. Don't need big weight here. As I say that, she puts her hand on the shoulder, which maybe suggests she's going to throw it. Had a chance to call one of their games last night. I know they do like the big weight. Very good at it. Well, if there's room to wiggle through, she's close. Nope, it stuffs it, stays right there. Good shot. One more look at this. And as I said, if there was a way to get through the two stones, it was to hit this one first, catch the back end, but it goes dead into the side, stays right there. She's sitting two. Don't know whether Michelle and Stephanie even looked at the slash doubles there. It's tough. It's probably just a little less than half a rock. You make the play on the back one, hit, try to roll in behind that corner guard. You can at least make it tough on her. You do have room to get behind the corner and still be shot rock. Sweeping for curl here. This has got to come up just to make contact. She's going to touch it, and it'll be just enough to get it up. Boy, that was in danger of sliding right by for a moment. She slides right by. It's a draw for three out of nowhere. As it is, chance for Delaney Strouse here to simply draw full 12 foot. She could pick up her deuce. We'd be all tied up again here after two ends of play. In-turn draw. This is the same path she had in the pregame. Draw to the button. And both brushers down right as out of her hand. She needs full 12 foot here. They're looking for curl as well, just to get it to the middle where they might have more rings. It's not going to get there. Missed opportunity there for Delaney Strouse to try to tie things up. She will pick up the single point. But she trails now 2-1. Michelle Englot will have last rock once again in the third.
Pretty good.
Technology.
Come. Fighting will now dig.
Shawn, Joyce with you here live as we begin the third end action of the women's semifinal here. RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Both of the women's semis on right now. There's 3 men's C semifinals on as well, still finishing the triple knockout portion of their draw. The men's playoffs will begin tomorrow morning. Michelle Englot with a 2-1 lead as we begin play in the third here. Got a couple of guards up front already. Now the come-around attempt. Quite the international flavor here to the women's event in total and the women's playoffs. We've got Michelle as the lone remaining Canadian team playing against a team from Traverse City, Michigan. And the other semifinal has Satsuki Fujisawa out of Japan playing against Xenia Schwaller out of Switzerland. And that team, the Schwaller team, was here last week for an event in Swift Current as well, qualified through the A and ended up winning the Bonspiel. They qualified through the A again this weekend. They have yet to lose a game in Swift Current. They're going to start lobbying for all the games to be here. Pushing for a Grand Slam here. They'd like to see the Swiss national playdowns played here. I'm not sure how they're going to arrange that, but Michelle looking to come around wide from the intern side, crashes the guard, but will push it into the 8-foot. Pulls the shooter a little farther off the center line. It's not a terrible result. Center line area was getting a little congested. It does allow the opportunity for Sydney Mullaney to make the hit. Gets just enough curl to get to the nose, drives it by the stone at the back. Strouse sits 2. That was the 5th stone of the end, so Michelle Englot's going to make a play on the 2 at the front. She's not worried about the stone back 8-foot. It's the guard and the one in the top 12-foot that are causing her more trouble. Going to play the double on those 2. If you make the double, you should get the shooter off the center line as well. Ashley Williamson with the big weight. Makes the hit. Drives it by the stone in the rings and dead jams it on the stone at the back of the 8-foot. Now it's in the back of the 4-foot. And doesn't get off the center line either. So Sydney Mullaney will try to come around and bring a third one into the house. She'd like to get something in behind cover in front of the tee line. That's pretty good. May have curled a little more than they would have liked. There's a double available on the 2 in front of the tee line. Nose hit probably gets them both. This needs to come up just a little bit more. She'll get both of them moving. Not able to get the first stone out. It comes to rest behind the tee line, though, at the corner of the 8-foot. Strouse sitting 2, albeit both of them behind the tee line. Third shot belongs to Englot, top 12. Sarah Anderson now looking to bring another one into the top of the house, behind cover, this time from the out-turn side. Will come down just a little deep, freezes to her own at the back of the button, but that does give room for Sarah England to follow it down, sit on the face of it, and for the time being at least, get out of a little bit of trouble. Still could be very hard to score more than one here, but gotta lock the freeze on here and you're starting to look good for at least getting on the board, whereas a rock in front of the tee line there could have set up a steal. Good job by the brushes. They bring that right down to the top half of the button. It's enough to be shot rock and lined up to those 2 red stones behind. Sarah being asked to follow that down. Kind of sit on the corner of it, so there might be an escape route for the yellow later on. They're calling out that it's got lots of line, but if it's got draw weight, it should finish here. They had to go for the weight. They didn't want to get off of it. The line would have been great if she'd have had the weight. It's a little bit light. Room for Sarah to get around on the in-turn this time, right to the top of the Yellowstone. You can't be second shot here. This is still just, you're going to be sitting 1. If you could get right to the face of the yellow, you wouldn't mind maybe tapping it up onto the red behind it, and that would create maybe enough space that you tap the yellow again and you can get second shot out of it. Line looks great. You're by the guard. By the red one now. How far can they move it? Move it up just a couple of inches. I don't know if that's enough to leave things alone. That the yellow could be tapped up enough to be second shot. But if you play red onto yellow and it touches the yellow behind it, pushes it onto the red, there will be enough room to draw down on top and sit 2. Looking to drive red onto yellow, and it did. It touched that yellow and moved it up enough. She's actually in worse shape now than she was before she threw it, because now if we're down to skip stones, if Stephanie Schmidt can get to the face, she's sitting 2 now. She didn't have a shot to score to sit 2 before. This still has to be made, and even if you do, there's probably a shot available for Delaney to pick it out, but then she'd have the same draw again. Big shot here for Stephanie Schmidt, sitting one on the button. It's frozen to a red one behind it. You can't see all of it, so it's unlikely that rock's going anywhere. If you can get right on the face of it here, you could have a chance to pick up another 2 points here in the third. I don't know if this one's got the weight, though. Decision time for Delaney Strouse. There's the only way I'm seeing that she maybe gets shot rock is to come off her red at the side of the 12-foot and double the yellow off the top of the button. Or you play this draw and just say, we're going to give you one, but you can't have two. So looking to come down, sit right on the face of shot stone. This needs to curl. That's pretty good, I think. I'm not seeing much. You could have the tap. I guess that there's no chance now that the yellow's going anywhere, I wouldn't think. You play the angle run, the yellow into the pocket of the yellow stone and the red that was just thrown and try to stick it right there. And when I say stick it, I don't mean you're throwing this hard. This is like a back 4-foot weight. But you do need to move the one that she just threw to get shot rock. Or second shot rock, I guess. Doesn't look like there's any way for that yellow to get picked through the button area, so you've probably got one locked, and this is your chance for two. It's thinner than you'd think here. Probably third to a quarter. Looking for just the quiet angle run, yellow onto the red that was just thrown. You kind of got to stick it right there. Needs to come up. It's close. She runs it in, gets a little spin in, and I think she's got two. We'll pull the rocks out of the way, take a look. Very difficult to get that out of there without touching it in, but they did. Oh, it is really close. I think it might still be the red, but they're going to put the stick around it. Depends which screen I look at. I can't decide. That's why they use the measuring stick. As an outstanding shot, she made that as good as she could. Had to move the red to have any chance to get shot rock, and then spun onto the face of her own. And as is always the case, when you need to make a measurement on a televised game, the stick is at the far end of the rink. Somebody had to go get it. Passing it by the yellow, now all the way around to take a look at the red. It's Michelle that kicked it off, so I've got to believe it's just the one. We'll find out when they hang the score, but for now it looks like it's Englot 3, Strouse 1. It'll be Strouse with the last rock again in the fourth.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. Apply. Sasktel. Apply for Sasktel.com/sponsorships.
Play has come into the house here in the fourth end. Michelle brought the first one in. The Strouse team hit it. Now Michelle looking to hit again, stay in the top of that 4-foot area. The delayed corner guard tactic here being displayed by the Strouse team. One hit in the rings. Now they'll throw the corner guard. Rushers have backed away from this. It's got a lot of rotation. This could slide right into the rings. And it will. And so much for the delayed corner guard tactic. Now you're going to be facing two and might have to try to run this end through for a blank. Ashley Williamson makes the hit, rolls towards the center line, and will sit right on top of their own stone. Strouse will look for the quiet hit here, just on the nose or a sliver across the face. Kill the back one and stay in front of the other one. Has to get at least up to the nose here. The top stone will bounce out into the open a little bit. Not going to. Makes the hit. Does pop the yellow stone out into the 8-foot on the other side. The shooter stays open in the 8-foot. Chance for Sarah Englund to make the hit. Stay right there. And Strouse is going to be looking for doubles here in this end just to get back to a blank situation. Double is there, but they're just going to look to hit and roll in front of that other stone. Still, in their mind, they'd like to get a deuce here, so they're trying to put a stone in a position where they might get a mistake, a half a mistake. Not going to get the roll towards the other yellow stone. Actually rolls a bit of rocks width the other way. Michelle wants to keep the double as tough as possible, so I think the indication was rolled just a broom's width back towards the center line, and now with it being 2 rocks higher, it's going to be a really thin double. This might roll a little farther than they had in mind. Corner in front of their own stone, and here is the chance to make the double and get out of it if that's what you had in mind. You could hit a sliver on the high side as well and just sit in front of the back stone. You don't want to be shot rock. Will get up to the nose, crosses it just a bit, makes the double, and rolls into the 4-foot herself. So just the 1 stone left in play now, that red stone in the 4-foot belonging to Strouse, and Michelle Englot going to ask Sarah Englund to make the hit. Stay right there. Likely both teams at this point in time content to simply exchange hits here, and there should be an opportunity for Delaney Strouse to blank this end. Sarah Englund with the hit. Sarah Englund, S-A-R-A. Sarah Anderson, S-A-R-A-H. We'll look to duplicate that shot. Inside brusher on this right out of her hand. Held the line nicely, hits right on the nose, stays there. Trying to chart out the path myself, but there's only 4 stones left to come. Even if they just keep exchanging hits, I don't think there's any chance they get out the front of the house yet. Not enough rocks to get that far up. Skip stones left to come here in the fourth end. The Englot team with a 2-point lead. Stephanie Schmidt, the fourth stone thrower, just looking to make the hit on that red stone, top 8. Another nose hit, and Delaney Strouse will look to do it again. She did indicate a little bit of a roll, maybe wanting to just change the shot a little bit. Strouse with her first, and this is going to have to curl. She was looking for a little roll over there. That's going to be a lot of roll. It does get the yellow out of play. So nothing left to play, just 2 stones left to come. Stephanie Schmidt and Michelle Englot will have a quick discussion. Where do we want to put this? Is there any place that might be a little bit tricky? Looks like they're going to simply throw the draw to the button. Same path she threw in the pregame. Same path she threw in the second end. She'll force Delaney Strouse to try to roll 6 feet to get out of the rings. Brusher's just cleaning. Get a nice look from this view just how much late curl there is here. Look at where that rock was when it crossed the hog line, and at the back 8, splitting the center. So that will be the stone that Delaney Strouse needs to remove with her final stone, and if she can roll out, she'll get the blank here, retain last rock into the 5th end of play. Final stone on the way. Inside brusher down early. This line is tight. Needs to hold the line if they're going to roll out. Makes the hit. And does have plenty of weight and thin enough contact to roll the shooter out of play. We've got a blank on the board here in the 4th. Still 3-1 for Michelle Englot. You're watching the women's semifinal from the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. 5th end right after this.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks baby.
Saskatchewan, what they know about.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a
Shawn, Joyce with you here live, fifth end underway. Michelle Englot brought the first stone into the top 12 foot. The corner guard goes up, and Michelle now trying to come in and didn't see the call. Does look like they were coming in all the way. I think maybe trying to tap that, but doesn't get the line. So sits 2. Strouse will look to come around. Try to bury one on the corner. Right here's where they should start to move. Now, it wasn't quite a pronounced positive backwards release and held it straight for a long time. If they get this deep enough, it's still got a chance to bury. They get about half behind. This is still just the 5th stone of the end, so they have to be a little careful coming by that red guard. It's still in the free guard zone. Ashley Williamson with the chase, the brush on right away. Looks like she's by. Looks like she might be by everything. Is this going to curl enough to get a piece? Just touches it. It's enough to get it out of the rings. Maybe a little bit of a panic on the brush early. Almost didn't curl enough, but makes it go away. And now another chance for the come around for the Strouse team. This time, Sydney Mullaney. This one's going to have tighter line coming by the guard. It's all a question of weight now. If they can get this deep enough, it should be buried. Good job by the brushers to get that in far enough to bury it. It is not shot rock. That still belongs to Michelle Englot at the top of the 12-foot, but it's buried, so Englot's going to have to go after the guard for now. Ashley with the peel. Strouse talking about throwing the guard originally. The call coming from the other end. They'd like to do something with the ones in the middle. Just freeze into the pocket, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. It's great if you make it. You can't afford to move either of the yellows. If you move the yellows, there's enough room to get the red out between them. They go back to the corner guard. This is safer. Makes a nice corner guard. On the third stones now, Michelle Englot will look to peel the corner. Could try to roll in front of the two in the center. I don't think she's going to do that yet. Well, she wasn't going to call it yet. That might be what they end up with. No, it'll roll past them. Maybe takes a sliver of the third shot rock away. The problem with the hit here for Strouse is it's awfully hard to hit this without leaving a double on the reds. Sarah Anderson going to play the hit. She needs to get across the face. They're hoping that they can wiggle in off the back end of the second yellow and maybe leave it too flat to make the double. I don't think it did. Michelle doesn't look like she called it. I think she just called for the nose hit here. That would leave her sitting second and third. Strouse will come right around. Well, she's got choices now. She could come right around. She's looking at coming wide around from the in turn. You actually could probably play the double on the yellows now. You might even be partially in behind cover. She's going to play the wide in turn. Has to be a little careful where they end up here because there's the hit and roll off the red. Stephanie Schmidt with that hit and roll off the red could get, even just a straight hit and roll, could easily get to the top of the forefoot. You don't want to leave this in a spot where you make the double fairly natural. Looks like nice line coming in and really curling out. Is she going to get by the one at the top of the 12? She does. That's a great spot. Buries it on the corner of the forefoot. There is going to be angle for those two reds to play the double or even just roll into it, but this has to be made now. If you don't make it on this shot, you're not going to have much for your next one, and Delaney Strouse might be able to bring another one around, and 3 would be in play. Just a thin half is really close. Stephanie Schmidt with her first looking for the double, and they've called the brush on right away. This is over curled what she needs for the double. Now, can she roll to the top of the forefoot? That's not a bad result either. Past the top of the forefoot, ends up just cornering a piece of that shot stone. So she has a way to get rid of the red right now, but can Delaney Strouse come down with just a slightly heavy draw, get to the inside of that yellow, chisel in off of it, sit 2. Talking about drawing open. You draw open, you guarantee your, well, I was going to say you guarantee your 2, but you don't, because you're always going to have a chance to roll underneath cover. I think you have to come down and play the same draw that Sarah Anderson just played. You want to move that yellow stone a little bit. This is a good chance to get 3. You have to move that yellow. If you don't move the yellow, Stephanie Schmidt hits the yellow anywhere on the outside. The one red stone goes away. You'll still have a shot for 2. But if you can move it so she doesn't have that shot, you might end up scoring 3 here. Stephanie might have no choice but to try the out-turn draw around the yellow at the top of the 12-foot and hope she can bury it enough that Delaney has to play the double, which would still be for 2, but no chance at 3. Big shot here. Brusher's on it right away. Looks like she's got room coming by. Should move as it's coming into the house. Starting to curl now. Well, didn't quite get to the inside of it enough and didn't have enough weight to move it. Looks right now like it's Strouse sitting 1. Michelle and Stephanie looking at the angle run on the yellow at the top 12-foot into the shot stone. It's not completely without risk, but I don't think they're going to throw big weight at this. You want to stick the run stone. If you're a little thin on the first one, you could be yellow onto red onto yellow, but as long as the raised stone stays right there somewhere, you're probably okay. And if you ever make it perfect, you're sitting 2. Delaney Strouse probably has to draw for 1. Big shot here. She made an outstanding little tap a couple of ends ago, and it turned out it was just for 1 after the measurement. This is a very similar shot. She's close. Makes the tap. It's going to catch the red stone first, but does leave the raised stone right there. If you look at it from the hack end, Delaney Strouse can get to the raised stone, but she's going to have a hard time getting to the nose. And if the yellow touches the red, she can't move it very far before it'll only be a single point. She's got a shot for 2. Heavy draw. She's got to get as close to the nose on that yellow as she can. Push it through the forefoot. She can afford a little touch on that red on the way by, as long as she doesn't move it too far. And if it's a thick touch, then it makes it harder to get the yellow out. You know, if you're only hitting half a rock on the yellow, when it touches the red, it's going to deaden it as well. These move so hard late. If she comes tight by that stone in the 12-foot, she can get close to the nose in this and pick up her 2 points. This is a long ways out right now, starting to curl. Maybe earlier than they would have expected. She's got to get by the stone at the top of the 12. Does get by. It touches the second red, but the yellow goes farther than the red, so it's 2 points. Delaney Strouse with an outstanding final stone will pick up her deuce here in 5. We're all tied up again after 5 ends of play. It's 3-all. Michelle Englot to have last rock when we come back for the 6th.
So with the impact of business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
All tied up once again as we begin play here in the 6th end. Michelle Englot does have last rock. 3 ends to play. They've got that last rock advantage in the even end that all these teams like to play for. Center guard thrown up to start this end. Michelle looking to come around. She'd like to be top 4. If this is going to slide deep, they might be better off to take it real deep. It does stop right on the pinhole. Ann O'Hara will look to follow it down, sit on the face. Moves it back just far enough that the red is sitting shot rock. Michelle will try to follow it down again. She'd like to be on the corner of the red one way or the other. She needs to find a way to get it out past the yellow at the back if she can. Does look like there's room to get just past the nose. If she could split center, sit on the corner of the red stone, there should be a way to get it out past the yellow at the back. It's got a lot of line though, and looks like maybe a little firm for weight. Had to sweep for curl there. Does tap it back, but taps it to Frozen on the yellow. First thought for Strouse was to try to get to inside the nose on the yellow, tap it back to the back forefoot. Great result if you make it, but if you ever stay on the high side, you're kind of letting Englot off the hook. Freeze that yellow stone on the angle to go over the top is pretty good too. Brushes are close, but this has got to curl. And she's going to stay on the high side of it. That red-yellow is lined right up to the red at the back of the button. I think Michelle's probably got to play it now with some weight. You need to release that back yellow. Probably want to get to the nose so you don't leave the same angle again. Red onto yellow onto red. The only rock that's probably leaving the rings is the yellow at the back of the forefoot. And even that, it might not leave. I think they were talking about hack weight. And by the time you move the fourth one, it might not go very far. Makes the hit. Red onto yellow does splash the ones at the back, and it is enough to get that yellow all the way out the back. Shooter ends up dead in behind cover. It is fourth shot for now. Englot sits shot on the corner of the button. Sydney Mulaney looking to come down, sit on the corner of the shot stone. And they jump the sweep on this one right away. Tighter line than the last couple, but when both brushes are down early, I have to think that had more to do with weight. It's not going to get by the yellow. Nudges it up just a little bit. Still looks like it's fourth shot. Rolled off just enough that she's got room to clear it by the yellow to get to shot rock. Michelle looking for the hit on the red stone in the 8-foot, come across, and they don't want to just sit right up against their stone. They'd like to move it over onto that red at the back of the 4. Don't necessarily need to move it out just yet, but if you could get something on top of it. This is going to have to curl though. This is a nose hit. Well, Englot sits shot third and fourth for now. Strouse has the tap up available on the red at the top of the 8. She's got the hit and roll in off the one that was just thrown. Looks like they're opting for the hit and roll. Well, sweeping for curl early. This is still on the outside of that yellow. Going to make the hit, but we'll roll the shooter all the way out of play. Now a chance for Michelle Englot to go after the second shot stone at the back of the 4-foot. Going to play it with quiet. This is a straight draw, I think, actually. And if they touch the yellow on the way by, it'll stagger the 2 at the top of the 8-foot, which takes away any kind of a tap up towards shot rock. Sweeping to curl now. They'd like to get close to the nose. They tap that one back, and Englot now sits 3. Probably got just enough curl on that one. Strouse might be able to get to the nose of it, but it's hard to get to the inside. Might be able to get ever so slightly to the inside with just draw weight. You've got to get well to the inside. That stone's more than half in front of the tee line. Well to the inside with a freeze if you're going to be second shot. That appears to be the call. They're going to play the draw to the pocket. Try to sit for second in between the 2 yellows. If you could make this, it certainly would shrink the scoring area. Brushes were both down early. This is curling a lot earlier than you'd expect. Got to get by the yellow at the top of the 8-foot. They're going to have to go to do that. This is really getting close to that tight yellow stone. It's going to rub. And that little rub overlaps the 2 at the top of the 8-foot. Now it's very tough for Strouse to do anything with those stones. If Sarah Englund can get to the inside of that red stone, pass it by the yellows and roll in a little bit, she'd be sitting 4. And I don't know how Delaney Strouse gets towards shot rock. Well, they're on the brush right away. Might have been a little inside. They're also indicating this could be down weight. She's not going to get by the yellow. Moves a few stones, but that was not a very good attempt by Sarah Englund. That same freeze is there now. It's a little easier. You can get frozen on the corner of shot rock. Got to be right down to it, though. There's that red stone that's just nibbling the 4-foot. If you leave any separation between the red and the yellow, you can come off that stone. You know, she was just full 4-foot. You could come off that stone, probably kick it out the front, still sit 3. You got to be right down to the corner of the yellow, then it doesn't clear when she tries to play that shot. She's playing this with some weight. By the front one, by the red one. She was trying to play the hit and roll, maybe get the double. She gets one out of there and leaves her shooter in that good position. There still might be room, though, for Stephanie Schmidt to get to the nose, or maybe just ever so slightly inside the nose. You just freeze, it's not bad. Well, Well, they talked about freeze. I think you have to move it because she can come off the red and kill the shot stone right now. Does look like it's there. You don't have to be through the house weight. You can make it even with back 8. You just need to get the red past the yellow that's on the button. Both brushers down, has to get by the guard. Once they're sure they're by, you might see them switch for a little bit extra curl. No, they don't need to. It's still going. She's got really good line if she's got the weight. She doesn't have the weight. She will sit top of the 4-foot. It gives her shot and third. Strouse can come off the red, kill the yellow. They're looking at coming off the yellow as well. Make the double of the top 2 yellows. I'm not sure that you can get to the shot stone that way. If you come off the red, onto the red, kill the yellow, I guess it just depends on where your shooter ends up. You might leave a double back for 2. She's going to play the double on the 2 yellows, content to give up 1 here. That yellow at the top of the 4-foot, the concern with it is that there's the red, yellow, red combination for 2. If you're thin enough on this first yellow, you might be able to get to the back side of the yellow in the top of the 4-foot and have your shooter come back onto the red. You could triple the yellows here if you're thin enough on the first one, but it's awful risky to try to be that thin. Makes the hit, comes across, gets the second one. All I'm seeing is throw this away and take your 1. It's not there, Steph. You're not shot rock if you make that draw. I just don't think this is there. There's no good reason. I mean, you probably don't do yourself any harm, but what happens if you get a pick? I mean, there is no shot to score 2 here. So to even throw it towards that and run the risk of it picking and maybe tapping something up, it's just not worth it. Throw this into the weeds and take your 1. Playing the wide out turn draw. She'll have to get just by her own, and then they need it to spin at the very end. And it'll just slide by. So put 1 more point on the board for Michelle Englot. She's got a 4-3 lead now after 6 ends of play. Delaney Strouse will have last rock in the 7th.
lot easier. One more G. Sounds pretty good.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec site again?
Aztec.com.
Power. I thought of my line. As
Seventh end underway. We've started things off with a center guard, but it is just off the line, so not in the no-tick zone. And O'Hara being asked to come around. Bring that stone into the edge of the button, splitting the T-line. Michelle Englot being asked now to follow it down, sit right on the face. Might have been some discussion there, just maybe looks better to come from the out-turn side, but this is the turn that was put there. She's just going to follow it. Not really critical to have shot rock here or even to the inside corner. He just needs to get right to the face for now. The game plan pretty simple for the Englot team at this point in time. You just want to see a single point go on the board either way. If you get the steal, you're up 2. If you get the force, you've got the hammer. If it turns into a blank, that's not the end of the world. You still got the lead coming home. You do have to be a little careful that you don't try so hard to get the force that you force them to 3. Our frequent listeners will have heard me say that before, but it does happen. On the other side, for Delaney Strouse, she wouldn't mind a blank herself. That would give her the last rock coming home, just needing a deuce, although points in this game have been hard to come by, so if you get a chance for 2 and 7, you might like to take it. She does not want to get forced, and she does not want to give up the steal. And O'Hara will come down, sit on the corner of that yellow stone. A little bit of separation between them, but good angle. Ashley Williamson looking to come in, sit partly around the guards, just trying to take away the path to that red stone so that they can't tap it up. Probably wanted more separation than that, or to get right to the face. She's left angle, yellow, red, yellow for Strouse to sit to, and she doesn't have to play it yet. That's the kind of shot you could wait. Talking about playing the guard, you play the guard over the top of the one that was just thrown, try to kill all 3 yellows. This could have you headed towards a blank end, and I mean, if you're okay with that, it's not a bad call. Sydney Mullaney looking to run this back. This is going to overcurl a little bit. Oh, catches it absolutely perfect. Red onto the yellow at the top, catches the red in the middle, kills all 3 yellows, leaves her redstones guarded. She sits 2 in the forefoot. Ashley Williamson will look to come down, sit on the corner of the reds again. Line's nice. If they can put this right on the face of the red, it's going to be close. Hard to tell that. I mean, it might be lined up so that the red goes by the top of the red at the back of the button. That's still a pretty good spot, though. It's a tough rock for Strouse to do anything about. She's even thinking about peeling the guard, try to make sure she's got an open house. If you're doing that, you got to be thinking blank. So they're going to come down, try to play a little tap here. You got to change the angles. You certainly don't want to stay on the outside of this yellow and leave another one of those red, yellow, red angles where the yellow stays. And she's in danger of doing that. This is out there a long ways yet, and this looks like a lot of weight. They're trying to get it to curl. I don't know if this is going to stop. Easily through the back. Could play the yellow-red now. I have to think if she's not playing it, it means the red's going by the shot stone, and she doesn't want to leave the double at the top, so she's going to freeze again. You don't want to move the yellow stone because you don't want to change that angle. Yeah, it looks like they're tapping it, so trying to get a little bit of curl now to get a more favorable angle out of it. That worked out pretty well, actually. You tap the red back, and now yellow is going into the pocket somewhere. Strouse with last rock here as we play in the 7th and looking at playing a center guard. And a long center guard at that. I don't love this call. You make this, she just comes around at draw weight tap and taps it up into the pocket. And then you're guarding their shot rock. Well, certainly not as high as what they had in mind, although that might not be a bad thing. For now, Michelle Englot going to look at playing the in-turn draw now with Sarah Anglin. Try to get to the face of that red stone on the corner of the button. Might be able to get there with enough weight to move it now and at least be sitting second shot. Tap it back about a foot off the side of the other red. You'd have a pocket behind your shooter here. Got the weight to move it if she gets by. Oh, she rubbed. Just rubbed the back end of the guard enough to straighten it out. She was headed for an outstanding shot. Still moves the shot stone back a bit. They were just a little late picking up the brush on that stone, and the only reason you know it moved or touched the guard at all is it straightened it out on the way by. Strouse continues to sit 2 and now has a chance to play a similar draw to what Sarah just threw. Get to the face of her own stone. She can sit 3 here with just skip stones left to come. By the front one, by the 2 at the top of the 8, and she does sit right on the face of her own stone, nudges it back a couple of inches. Strouse sits 3. You might be able to get the freeze to the one at the very back of the 4-foot. You probably only sit second if you do that. You could come off the yellow at the side. You might get 2 of the reds that way. You play the red one straight back, the red guard straight back onto the 2 yellows at the top of the 8. You don't need to throw it with big weight. You make contact with it all. It's coming off the side of the one that was just thrown and probably freezing the back one. If you're playing that, I think you're only throwing it with about half weight. Still looking at coming off the yellow. You might be able to get 2 reds like that. It's also possible you don't get underneath the one that was just thrown. If you touch it first, I don't know if you get any reds out. So going to freeze the back one for now. It's interesting. They didn't talk about it, but you could actually just draw to the top corner of the button on this side. As long as you got a sliver underneath the guard, it'd be really tough to pass it between the reds. Awfully risky to even try it. They're going to have to go for line here. Got to get by their own 2 stones at the top of the 8-foot if you're going to play this shot. Not going to get by, so you got to bounce off. This can't just sit there. Left it overlap. That does not help you at all. Strouse looking at throwing another guard. She's going to throw guard here. She's got to get it wide enough to take away the draw path to the edge of the 4-foot. And then Stephanie's likely running that red one back, red onto the 2 yellows. Doesn't need to have a lot of weight, but she needs to hit it very precisely. Pressure's on this, trying to hold it out there. Not sure this is going to take away any draw path. It's not. Which red one do you want to run back? They could do it with either of the 2 in the middle. Probably looks a little easier now because of where her first stone ended up, with the one just on top of the R in the air, just off the center line. And again, doesn't want to hit this too hard. When it's coming from this side, if you're straight back, you hit the first yellow half a rock, it'll get a little bit of drag on the second one, which means it probably misses the one at the front of the 4-foot, might catch the shot stone. You're hoping to just end up with it frozen on the back one when you're done. Big shot here, facing 3 right now, but a good shot here could at the very least hold him to 1. If she gets shot rock out of this somehow or another, it could be very tough for Delaney Strouse to do anything about it. A little set on the release. Needs to be close to the nose here. This is going to have to curl. Just a little too far back on the release. Not going to touch any of the yellows on the way by. So now Strouse probably has the wide out-turn draw. Try to get the edge of the 4-foot and see if she can't pick up 4 here. She's looking at the hit off the yellow and try to roll in. It's tougher than it looks, because you look at where you're going to be when you make contact. You're going to come into the side of the red. She's got to be very thin on that first yellow, or she touches her own and then she won't be far enough into the forefoot. This is a huge extra point. She's got 3 secured right now. That would give her a 2-point lead going home, but Englot would have the hammer. A 3-point lead is a different level. Both brushers down. This needs to curl a little bit. She's close. Oh boy, look at that go. She actually touches her own first. Yeah, maybe a little quieter than I realized she had, but still good for 3. She will take the 2-point lead into the 8th end of play. Michelle Englot will have last rock, needs 2 to tie, 3 to win. It's the semifinal of the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. We'll have 8th end action for you right after this commercial break.
Better
Remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And
Be online. We can make a difference.
First stone of the 8th end brought into the top of the forefoot. The corner guard goes up just beside the S3 logo. Ann O'Hara being asked to bring another one into the top of the rings. Full 8 foot in line with their shot stone. Probably a little closer together than they would have liked to be. That allows for a hack weight nose hit. You'll stay frozen. For now, they'll just play the second corner guard. Nothing out of the brushers here. They don't want this to slide into the rings. It's good. It ends up pretty close to dead even. So now a third one towards the center line for the Strouse team, and this is the 5th stone at the end, so the free guard zone no longer a factor after this stone. Comes down, breaks up the angle on the two that were there, moves it back a little bit, but leaves a pocket. Talking about playing the hit on the more open stone roll behind the corner, I don't mind the hack waiter still on the one right on the center line. You'll stay in front of a pocket. They might switch to that, actually. No, they're still making the play on the red in the open, trying to roll in front of the other two. Just removes the one, doesn't change the angle at all on the other two. Sydney Mullaney will look to hit the Yellowstone in the rings. Still going to leave the two guards out there. As long as you keep her busy with the ones in the house, Michelle will still have two guards to work with. Right out of her hand, sweeping for curl here. Going to touch the yellow. It'll have enough to kill it. Also touches the two reds, puts one to the back of the 8-foot. Strouse continues to sit 2. Still lined up for the double. A lot more room in between them. Don't have to play that yet, so time to come around the corner now. Plenty of room by the guard. Sweeping for curl now. They can afford to be deep. They need to be buried. It's got a lot of room to get to that guard and not going to. Stays fully out in the open. Sarah Anderson now look to make the hit and roll into the back of the 4-foot. We're on third stones. It's getting tough. If you make this roll to the back of the 4-foot, it's getting tough for Michelle to try to use the corner guard. She's still got to deal with rocks in the middle. Makes the hit, but this is going to roll a little too far. Well, it might change which corner you're going around. Line's getting tight. I don't think they want to sweep, though. This might be a little strong. Sweeping now for curl. They've got to make sure they make contact with that back one. Otherwise, there's a chance it's right through. Will touch it. With that little bit too much weight, it's going to flop out into the open. It's at least half to 3/4 in the open anyway. Sarah Anderson just going to look to make that yellow go away. I don't think you want to keep the shooter around at all now. Might even like to clip that other red on the way by. And again, sweeping for curl right out of her hand. Still not by the red one. Just gets by. Touches the yellow, but thin enough to jam it on that red beside it and leaves it in the rings. Yeah, I think you got to go around the other corner now. You got to leave these separated. You've got a double in the middle, so you don't have to play anything on the reds just yet. Try to get another one buried. This one looks like it's going to have a nice line going by. Can they get it deep enough to bury? Oh, no problem. It's going to be T-line. So that stone dead buried. Strouse might have to play a draw. You don't like ignoring two yellow stones in the rings when you're 2 up coming home, but can't really get at either one of them directly. She does have shot rock at the top. Not sure who's second right now. Needs to get this frozen on the inside corner of that yellow because Stephanie Schmidt will come off the red into the one you're about to throw. If you're too high, she can clear the yellow with it. If you get to the face, she can clear the yellow with it. It's got to stay on the inside corner. Line looks good if they can get it there. Yeah, that's going to stay just a little too high. I think looks to me like the yellow is still second shot. Mind you, that's probably your best chance at a double is going that way. Be awfully close to losing the one at the back, though. Hitting the one on the center line, come across, catch the one that was just thrown. You don't actually have to kill it. You could just roll onto the corner of it. That's not a bad result. Good call. Tough to make. The problem in making the double is your shooter stays right there and you're probably leaving a double back. If you just roll onto the corner of that red stone, there probably isn't a double. Got to be second shot, though. I don't think there's any doubt they're making a play on the stone that's splitting the center line at the top of the 8 foot. The question is, are they playing the double or are they just trying to roll into it and stay corner frozen on it? And that's the discussion they're having and the decision they're going to have to make. you make the double, you don't even necessarily have to be second. You could make the double a little thick on the first one, come to the top edge of that red and spin up a little bit. As long as you're a piece in behind the guard, you'd be sitting shot, third and fourth, and that red stone at the back of the 8 would be looking pretty lonely. I think with this amount of ice, they're just looking at hitting and rolling over there. Now the problem with the hit and roll is you're going to have to hit it a little bit thicker because you're not trying to kill the second one. There's a chance you're jamming it onto the red biter at the back, so that's one of the stones that could have ended up on the scoreboard that'll be gone. Makes the hit, does come across, will nudge the second red, and she spun up a little bit. That's in a pretty good spot. Risky to try the double because that top yellow after you clip the second one is coming back towards the one at the back of the 8. If you play that and lose your shooter, you could leave a nose hit for 3. Could just play to tap the yellow, kill one of them, and roll your shooter towards the center line. She'd have to play the double probably just for the tie. Can't see quite all of the yellow, so looking to hit the yellow at the top of the 8-foot onto the one on the center line. You're not expecting that top one to go very far. You'd like to roll to the top of the 4-foot, sit shot rock. Ideally, you want to sit 2, but you'd have to drive the yellow a little bit across the face of the second one to do that. Then you're in danger of losing your shooter. On the brush on the inside right away. One onto the second, but spills it into the 4-foot area. I do think she's got shot rock where she rolled, but a nose hit probably spills enough that she would get 2. Anything just a slight bit on the, as we look at the overhead, a slight bit on the right side of center on that stone. Definitely should make it for 2. Interesting that she's throwing the out turn here. You got to cross the face just ever so slightly to be sure you don't dead jam it. Final stone, 8th end. Stephanie Schmidt throwing the 4th stones for the Englot foursome. Needs the hit. Can't dead jam it on the back stone. Has to pick up her 2 here to get to an extra end. This is going to have to curl. This is going to have to curl a lot. Makes the hit. Catches the second one, and that saves her because she might have rolled too far. Otherwise, it's going to be 2 points on the board, and we're headed to an extra end. As is the custom here in Swift Current, they'll take the rocks down to the other end so they can throw it towards the viewers. We'll have all of the extra end action for you right after this short commercial break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Steel. Shawn, Joyce with you here live. Extra end action bonus coverage from the women's semifinals. Michelle Englot, Delaney Strouse looking for a spot in the final. 8 ends wasn't enough to decide who's going, so we're going to play, well, let's just say at least one more. Have to think Michelle Englot needing to steal, probably going to throw 2 guards here on the center line. Looking to throw the tight one first. Splits the center line, that's important. It's in the no tick zone. Ann O'Hara will look to come around. They're going to play the intern. Needs to keep this in front of the tee line. You'd love to be full 4-foot. Get full 4-foot on this one. You know that Michelle Englot likely going to throw a high guard on the second one. You can come down to the face of it with your second. You'd have things pretty well set up in the house. This may not have the legs to get to that full 4-foot though. It's going to be just full 12, and essentially that's still a second guard for later on in the end. It did stay fully out in the open. That's important for the Strouse team. It's available to be promoted later on if they need to. Does take away the intern draw path for now. Well, out turn for a few players on this sheet, or at least one. Ann O'Hara is a left-hander. Looking for the high guard here. This is not going to be a high guard. Last bit of sweep. They were trying to get it back to the center line just so they can't play the tick shot. It did. So coming around from the out turn side now, or the in turn, I guess, for the left-hander. It's got nice line coming by the guards. The brushes pick it up just past the hog line, but then back away again. They were a little worried it was going to be deep, but it does come to rest. A good half in the button. It's a pretty good spot. All Michelle Englot can do at this point in time is come down, sit on top of it. Key there for the Strouse team. You just got to put a stone in the top of the 4-foot somewhere. Englot has to play the freeze, and that means sometime later on she's still going to move it going to have to move it up. She needs 2 shots, essentially, to get shot rock, and you're going to be able to peel guards on the next one. This has got a lot of room coming by and a lot of weight. You just couldn't miss it that way. Comes by everything to the back 12. You know, if you're short on that, there's still something you can do. But now the double peel comes, and if it's made, you don't have a lot to work with. You need to steal this extra end. Looking to get them both. Just going to get the top one. Does give you another chance to try to get to the face of that shot stone. If you make it, the other guard's going to go away. Tighter line on this one. Probably taking a little bit off on the weight as well. Looks close. Oh, really nice line coming by the guard. And she will get right to the face of that red stone. So now the peel on the guard. This is the finalist second stones, so Sydney Mullaney will look to peel the guard. You have to expect Sarah Englot will probably be asked to throw 2 guards, I would think. You peel it twice. And then the decision will likely have to come in on Stephanie Schmidt's first. You could guard even with Stephanie Schmidt's first, because she's got 2 ways to make the yellow-red tap. She could actually run that red back if she had to. So you guard with your first. If they peel the guard off, you come at it direct and sit 2. Strouse, probably as she's peeling the guards, is going to need to try to run it over the top of the red. She actually needs to get rid of that red stone at the top of the 12. And if it comes back into the ones in the forefoot and disturbs them, that's probably good too. Yeah, she should be peeling this from the other side. Yellow over the top of the red, have it come back, clip the 2 stones in the forefoot. That stone in the button is not helping you. Just going to play for the straight peel on the guard, though. Makes it go away. Sarah Englund will have to put it back. Pressures have not touched this all the way down. It might be a little bit tighter. Does stop just short of the rings. tougher to make the over-the-top shot now if she wanted to play it. She didn't play it on the last one. I can't imagine she's going to play it here. No, looks like just the straight peel. And then Stephanie Schmidt probably freezes the yellow. You freeze the yellow, leave yellow, yellow, red in a straight line. Well, unless this overcurls and that she does the damage for you, this is dangerous. Does just get it by the stones in the rings. Good job by the brushers. I think all you need to do here is freeze. She can't take everything away. They're looking at tapping. Boy, if you're going to tap, you got to be right on the nose because you want this all lined up to dead jam. If you're anything off the nose, she makes the double on the yellows and you're not going to have much. I don't know what she does if you freeze. She can't. She could guard, I suppose, but you've got the angle running on the red. And if you're frozen, yellow, yellow, red is automatic. Skip stones here in the extra end. Stephanie Schmidt with her first. Has a stone frozen to shot stone at the top of the forefoot, looking to tap them both back. She's got to get dead to the nose. This has got to curl. It's coming. It's trying. Oh, they lost it. Actually, it's going to overcurl ever so slightly. Does get the tap back. There is a bit of angle there. Now, she can't get at it from the in-turn side. She can't quite see all of the yellow stone. It will drag a little bit. And I still think you blast this, they probably all go. You might lose the one off the back of the button, but you don't mind if, as long as both yellows go, you're good here. You didn't have to throw that. You didn't have to tap it there. Delaney Strouse with her first, looking for big weight, trying to move a couple of stones. This is tight to the front one. Drags enough that it does clip the red at the back of the forefoot. That doesn't hurt her, actually. It makes a lot more room. Well, for Stephanie Schmidt, your choices are you're coming around it, that stone at the top of the 12. Try to catch the side of the button. You could hit it and make her throw against 3, but she'd only have to hit the 8-foot. I think you have to try to make this draw. The nice thing for Stephanie Schmidt, it's a very similar path to what she just threw, and they saw that rock really curl at the end. That was with the weight to tap, so it does look like you can get underneath that stone. Got to be buried, even if you have to be back 4-foot here. You want Delaney Strouse having to draw. Brushers have not touched this one yet, and they've started to back away. Needs to at least bite 8-foot just to make her throw, and this is going to be heavy. Is it going to stop in time? Oh, just hangs on for a nibble at the back 8-foot. Delaney Strouse will have to throw her final Final stone, pardon me, just needs half a rock in the 8-foot. And she can move into the final, where I can tell you she will be facing Xenia Schwaller, who stole one in 8 to pick up the win. Xenia Schwaller, through 2 weeks here in Swift Current, has yet to lose a game in this building. Final stone, extra end. Delaney Strouse out of her hand. The brushers will make a quick decision. They haven't touched it yet, but they're staying close, cleaning. She's got a lot of rotation. If this is heavy, it's not going to get the line to the back one. Michelle Englot getting ready with the brush. This is heavy. Now where's it going to stop? Well, it's not. It's going to slide through the 8-foot, and that little biter at the back of the 8-foot is enough to steal the single point. Michelle Englot will move into the final. Delaney Strouse eliminated, and that means Michelle Englot, Xenia Schwaller will be facing off in the final. Scheduled to start in about 40 minutes' time. Looks like we might still be on schedule. My name's Shawn, Joyce. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on the Curling Stadium Network for the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. We've had a lot of action all weekend. Still a little bit left to go. We've got the women's finals coming up at 9 o'clock. There will be 3 C event qualifiers on the men's side as well. And then men's playoff action beginning tomorrow morning. You will see it all here, all of the games being streamed and commentary on selected features. We want to thank you for joining us tonight and hope you'll be back in about 40 minutes for the women's final.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the